Hey folks, Mother's Day is this weekend. If you put off getting your mom a gift, do the right thing and send her some Pro Flowers right now. Get mom some rainbow roses from Pro Flowers and use the WTF code. You can get 1 dozen rainbow roses plus a free glass vase for only $19.99. It's a great price, it's a great gift for mom, and it's a great way to support WTF. That's this show. These flowers are guaranteed to last for 7 days. You want mom to have something she can brag about? And these roses are big, beautiful roses in bright spring colors, red, orange, pink, yellow, and white. Man, that's a lot of colors. Go to proflowers.com, click on the mic, and type in the code WTF. You can get another dozen roses and chocolates for just $10 more. Don't forget the other moms in your life, wife, sister, daughter, and for heaven's sake, don't forget your mother-in-law. Order now and have them delivered to mom in time for Mother's Day. Call 800-PRO-FLOWERS, or even better, visit proflowers.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner and type in WTF. That's proflowers.com. Click on the microphone and type in WTF. Okay, let's start the show.
Lock the gate!
Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it. Pow! What the fuck?
WTF.
And it's also, what the fuck? What's wrong with me? It's time for WTF. What the fuck?
With Marc Maron.
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fucking ears? What the fuckstables? What the fucking ucks? I don't know. Hey, it's Marc Maron. This is WTF. Thank you for listening. I welcome you. I welcome you to the garage. I welcome you to my head. I welcome you to the show. By the way, Craig Ferguson on the show today. I went to his place, not his house, to his office, to his place of work. I sat in an office with him. We talked for about an hour, and you're going to hear that in just a few minutes. But first, let me talk about me and my world. How's your world doing? It's weird what's happening in this neighborhood. There was a place down the street here. I've got to do a series of interviews around Highland Park, which is east. It's in the east part of Los Angeles. I know many of you know the Cat Ranch is up here in Highland Park, but something's happening down there on York. For 2 months, we've been watching. There's this bakery down there, Ilsa's Bakery, where I used to go in and get Mexican cookies, which are just different types of cinnamon bread things, and macaroons. They had good macaroons. And some old guy, looked like he was 100 years old, used to bake at that place. And his son, that looked like he's on polio crutches, used to work there. But they're still down there, but they seem to have either sold off or rented off half of their space. And it's been under construction for 2 months. It's painted, and as somebody who lives in the neighborhood and drives through it every day, or drives by it every day, you're just sitting there going, what's that going to be? What's going to be down the street? Is that going to be good? Is it going to be a place that I can use? Is it a hair salon? But all of a sudden, it starts to be revealed that this may be a restaurant. But it's about the size of my garage, and it was called Ba. They wrote on the name. There's a name on the wall of the place. On the street, it just says Ba, B-A, Ba. And I still didn't know what the hell it was. Ba. What is that? Who names a place that? Ba. I don't know. And then I get an email out of nowhere. Some dude, guy named James, says, hey, I just opened up this restaurant down the street called Ba. Maybe you'd like to check it out. I'm a big fan of your show. We listened to it while we were building the place. You've kept us company. So I went down there the other night. Turns out this cat, James, used to run with Anthony Bourdain back in the day, back in the old days of New York, back when things were racy and rock and roll, before the Food Network, before the chefs became rock stars, back when everyone was just dirty and covered in grease, walking around with their own knife. So he sent me and Jessica up, and we had a beautiful dinner down there. It's a very lovely place. It's very small. It only seats it looked like maybe 20 people. It's decorated very nicely, and you really feel like you've left the entire realm of Highland Park. I got to do an episode from right around here, from up in the hills. Maybe I can do it at Ba. It's not a plug. It's just my neighborhood. Things are changing. I'm ahead of the curve. When I got into this place, there was nothing up here. Houses were cheap, but maybe something's happening. Maybe I have something to do with that. Maybe I can, please bring your business to Highland Park. Open up a groovy thingy. Please, I am inviting you to start your groovy thingy, but maybe I'll open a restaurant. Fuck it. There's some groovy, used clothing place down there now that's only open, on occasion when they feel like it. There's a lot of real estate down there. Come down to the neighborhood. Take a chance. There's a couple of dispensaries though. So you've got that element here. You've got your dispensaries, you've got your Mexican pet store, and you've got bar. I might have to really go into the hills. Maybe that's what I ought to do. Maybe that's my next move. Do the podcast from a remote location, a tent of some kind. Maybe that's it. Why don't I just open a store and sell all the shit I have in the garage? God damn it, I can't. I'm done. I had to go look for some things from high school for a show. They asked me to find some artifacts from high school. I don't even know where that shit is. I think it's in storage. Why am I amassing this? But I think I found it. I think I figured out why I don't have a lot of pictures of myself from a long time ago. There was a period there where I took a lot of pictures. I just went through a bunch of pictures. And I'm getting to that age where there's no way to look at any picture of yourself from more than 20 years ago without a tinge of melancholy, without a tinge of sadness. Like, look at that guy. He was so lost and so wanting to be found, smoking a cigarette, acting like he's somebody else. Look at that poor kid. How can I help him? Is there any way I can reach back into this picture and tell him, dude, quit being so hard on yourself. You're not going to figure anything out for another 25 fucking years, you dumb little shit. So quit trying so hard. God, if I could only reach into pictures. There's all these pictures of me, trying different facial hairs, different haircuts, different glasses frames, different weights, different women. I lived a life. It's all right there in that metal box. Can I have a garage sale? How should I go about it? Should I have an eBay garage sale? How the hell should I do it? I can't really have everybody coming up to the house. Maybe I'll just go down the street. Maybe I'll do it on the street. Maybe I'll do it New York homeless style, circa 1989. Just lay it all out there. Hang out on York. Maybe that's the angle. Maybe I should open up a podcast store. What does that even mean? Okay, gang, I told you earlier about the Pro Flowers deal for Mother's Day, and you can take advantage of that by going to proflowers.com and using WTF as the code for a dozen rainbow roses. But what if flowers aren't your mom's thing? You want to get something nice? You want to get her some huge chocolate strawberries from Sherry's Berries? Huge, like the size of a baby's hand. You know you're going to give Mom a call on Mother's Day. It's the busiest phone call day of the year. So make sure you've made a fuss over her before you get on the phone, all right? How about that? Make sure you lay a little pipe. You do some groundwork. You get a box in the mail. Sherry's Berries is the perfect way to do that. These giant strawberries start at $19.99, and they're covered with white milk and dark chocolate, plus toppings like nuts, chocolate chips, and chocolate swirls. Go to berries.com, click on the mic, and type in the code WTF. Say thanks to your mom or your wife for everything she does, okay? And also apologize. Yeah, add that in there. Say thanks and apologize for everything you did. And now you can double the berries for just $10 more. All right, you follow me? All right, $10 more, double the berries. Maybe they want to share them. Maybe they just like strawberries. Either way, it's pretty impressive. Double the amount of those strawberries. Call 866-FRUIT-02, or even better, visit berries.com, berries.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner and type in WTF. Go to berries.com, click on the microphone, and type in WTF. The offer expires at midnight. So get on those berries. Get on them for Mom.
I'm deeply distraught to be late today.
I don't think you were that late.
10 minutes is too late. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. How's that?
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I can, yeah. I mean, I
tell my kids.
I was early.
Were you 50 minutes early?
Yeah, but I didn't come here. I went to Farmer's Market and got some coffee.
But there's more coffee.
And I can drink coffee all day long, Craig.
That's that's something I aspire to.
Do you? I think I once saw you driving in a vintage Bronco. Was that possible?
Yeah, it's true. I got it from Danny Bonaducci.
Ah.
Actually, that carpet in that Bronco, because Danny was using it when he was...
using?
Yeah. I always thought the carpet, and I still have that car. I thought if ever I run out of money, I'll get the carpet, chop it up, sell it in little baggies. It probably has a street value of about $30,000.
Sure, if you've got some sort of smell. Yeah, burn it down, melt it, extract.
There's stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's probably like angel dust and drugs that used to have.
The high grade stuff. Old school.
Yeah, old school. What was angel dust? I never took angel dust.
I think it was a horse tranquilizer, perhaps, or something like that. It was either an insecticide or a horse tranquilizer. That was not your thing? I think I might have taken it by accident once.
Didn't it make you...
It made me want to continue to be a comedian. It was years ago.
Pretty strong. It's pretty strong shit.
I don't know what happened.
I guess we're working now, right?
We're always working.
I know.
It doesn't need to change anything.
No,
what, are you tired?
No, a little bit. I just spent an hour in the company of my beautiful ex-wife. So, I'm a...
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, she's all right. She's okay. She's not a bad person.
You're being diplomatic.
Yeah.
I mean...
yeah, I am.
Because you're on a microphone.
No,
who would know?
It's a long time ago. I mean, we divorced a long time ago. It's just, things got to be taken care of. You
got a kid with her?
Yeah.
How many?
One with her. And
how old is he?
He's 10.
Oh, so they're young still.
Yeah.
How long were you married?
6 years.
And you were together for
10.
And that was it.
That was it.
Bad?
No, I mean, no divorce is easy, but it's all right.
Yeah, I have that too. I have no kids
divorces?
though. 2 divorces, no kids.
See, then you haven't been divorced. It doesn't count. Like who gets the CDs and stuff. That's not a divorce. Fuck.
What about heartbreak? What about heartbreak? I'm not talking about barter. We're not talking about money.
That's not even part of it. That's just like the heartbreak is just that's what happens before the divorce.
Right.
Right, but the divorce itself.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys decided on yours, or you were the one to leave. But
No.
She left you?
I left the house, but she made me go.
Well, did you do something, or was it?
No, we just ran out of steam. She really is all right, actually. She's okay.
So there's no heartbreak there. That just seems like the beginning of a negotiating process, running out of steam.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. She's all right, though.
She's all right now. Yeah. I mean, we've been divorced for 8 years.
Took her that long to recover from it?
Yeah, kind of.
You sapped her? You drained her of her life force?
Yeah, that's right. It was all my fault. It was all my fault. Oh, my.
So, all right. So now you got your shoes off. Your feet are here.
Yeah, my feet are here. Sorry, is that
I want you to be comfortable.
Do you have a feet thing?
I just want to...
Do you have a feet thing?
No.
Like women's feet?
In any kind? No. You?
Really? No, you strike me as being a guy who would maybe have
I'm
feet
very practical when it comes to sex.
So just vaginas, then?
Vaginas and ears.
That's no practical
Not
at all.
ears, no. Just vaginas and I like everything involved, but I don't go out of my way to focus on any. I like boobs. I like butts. Feet, no.
No?
You?
That depends on the foot, I guess.
Does it really? Have you found yourself with a foot in your mouth before and happy about that?
No, I haven't gone. Much like you, I haven't set out to get the foot in my mouth. But
Right.
if one ends up in my mouth while I'm on the way,
Sure. Sometimes
if it's a kind of,
I guess this is happening.
right? Yeah, then that's fine. It's like, oh, foot in my mouth. All right, fine.
As long as we get to the other place.
Yeah,
if I got to
fine.
start here.
Yeah, if this is what's needed, that's fine. There's always some kind of something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this, but
Right.
if this is what needed in this situation, were you? You weren't always a comic.
I guess no. I mean, my adult life I have been.
Yeah, you always did stand up.
Since I was about 19. Yeah.
All right, can I ask you something before we get into the proper interview? Now, the first time I did your show,
Yeah.
you weren't there.
Yeah, that's happened during interviews as well.
No, I didn't feel that the second time. I've never seen you not be present during an interview. If anything, you're ever present.
Well,
Not critical,
Yeah, I guess. No, I wasn't there. Well, a lot of the times the comics get done out of sequence.
Right, but you just kind of, like, it was interesting. I've never had that experience before. I've done a lot of late night shows where I'm about to go on, and the host says, good luck, and leaves the building.
Yeah, well, I have kids. I got to get home.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
How old's your second kid?
He's only a year old.
Are you still married to that woman?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So you've only been divorced once?
Well, technically twice.
What was he? Where's the missing one?
I was married in Scotland when I was 21, and we got divorced when I was 23.
Oh.
So I kind of doesn't really count.
What led to that marriage?
Alcohol, I think.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what part of Scotland did you grow up in?
Glasgow.
That's a rough town, man.
Well, actually, I didn't really grow up in Glasgow. I grew up in Cumbernauld, which is an extra rougher, more unpleasant suburb of a rough town.
I was in Glasgow for maybe a week doing a comedy festival, and I've never seen such a celebration of public vomiting in my life.
You should see London, the central London, Soho.
Yeah.
Any night of the week, there's actually more vomit there. That's, I think, the epicenter of all vomit activity.
UK vomit?
Probably. Well, I'd say European vomit.
Oh, no kidding.
And maybe even, although Boston does very well with vomit on weekends,
sure.
I think London beats it.
But you think it's maybe a global, international first place competitor?
I think it's right up there.
Yeah.
I think it was part of the Olympics bid.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, for the vomit.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what it was like to grow up in Scotland.
It was fucking terrible.
Because I don't have any sense of it.
I think it was good. I think it was good for some people, and
Yeah.
I think some people of different personality types than mine
probably
handled it very well. But I found it very unpleasant.
Yeah, and what kind of racket was your folks in?
My dad was worked in the post office for 45 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What as a carrier or just
No, he did that for a while, but he became like a suit-wearing boss by the end of it. He was
telling people where to put the mail.
Yeah, telling the guys who were carrying the mail what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And handling continents of mail, not just bags of mail,
Sure.
huge trucks in all those trucks of mail all over there.
Yeah.
So he did very well, and my mother was a grade school teacher.
So your father was a government worker.
Yeah,
he's got a pension. Looking for
he got a pension. No, my folks weren't. I mean, there wasn't much money when I was a kid, but by the time I was my mid to late teens, they were doing pretty good. They moved to a house that they owned, and my dad had a car, which his first new car I remember he bought was there was still the Soviet Union.
Yeah,
and they were selling off these, what were they called? Lada? I think it was a Lada. It was either a Soviet car or some kind of Polish car, but it was the first brand new car he had when I was in my mid-teens.
But it was definitely a communist car.
Oh, yeah. It was bright orange, though. I do remember that. And it was, I think it cost like $500 or so. But it was brand new. It was brand new.
So what was their big plan for you in there when they... In what Cumberland, you said?
Cumbernauld.
And what that was some sort of housing complex?
Yeah, it's kind of it's hard to describe it. It's a little bit like if you've ever been to one of the larger East European bloc cities, like Gdansk or Moscow, even on the outskirts of these cities, they have vast tracts of public housing.
Right.
That's kind of what Cumbernauld is or was.
And how'd they end up there?
Because there was cheap housing there when they were, newly married. So,
right.
And they had 4 kids.
Jeez. And was probably just post-war kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I was born in 62, and my oldest...
62? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, why?
I was born in 63.
So I'm older than you.
A year older than
me. Are you judging me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't. I
you don't think I'm older than you? I think I look a lot older than you.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. I think you look fine, man.
You're being diplomatic now.
I am. You have a fragile show business ego. I don't want to push any buttons.
I don't know how fragile mine is. Is yours fragile?
Yeah, I'm very sensitive.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to be. I think this show is taking care of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been kind of demystified.
What?
A little bit.
It's beaten out of you?
Well, a little bit. I mean, people are so fucking mean.
They are,
when
right?
When you start doing a show like this, like the
Late Show.
Yeah, but the first year.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
why doesn't he go home?
Yeah, fuck you. Well, I don't understand him. He's a douche. Is he gay? No, it's his accent. What the fuck? Everything.
Then I guess the way you transcended that was not going to the chat boards.
Not going to.
Don't go to the comment sections. Don't go.
Well, yeah, that takes a little longer. That takes about 3 years. Thank you, Aaron.
How do you drink your coffee?
I drink the lattes.
You do?
I do, but they're non-fat.
No, I thought I'd take you for, and then maybe you're a latte guy. All right.
Well, what do you think? You thought I was black coffee?
I drink black coffee.
Well, it's because you're exciting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you were probably, if you weren't a comic, you'd have been a detective.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
an
do
unusual
not,
detective.
Yes, where I was just trying to figure myself out.
No, I think you would figure yourself out, and that's the kind of detectives that do well on TV. Like you'd be a detective, and you'd be like insecure about shit, and like, worried about what other detectives think of you on their websites and stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you'd get there in the end, and you'd be like, just one more question.
Yeah.
Be one of those
right. I don't mean to bother you.
Yeah. My wife loves your show.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guy,
yeah. Columbo.
Yeah.
I think he was called. You're telling me I'd be Columbo.
I'm saying you could be like a postmodern Columbo. I'm not saying like you need to wear the coat or anything or have the eyebrows.
Are you?
But you could kind of do it.
Are we writing a show?
I'm thinking. You've
got a production company, don't you?
I've got a production company. Maybe we should make a call. I think you'd be good at that.
You have a deal with CBS?
Of course I do.
A first look deal?
Yeah.
I get someone on the phone. Let's bring them down here. I've never done an episode like that.
They'll probably come over.
We improvise a show pitch to some executives.
I think it would work. I do think it would work. I think you as a detective and maybe me as your boss.
Yeah.
In real life, not on the show. Like, it would be my production company, and I'd say, hey.
Well, I like the idea of you as my boss on the show.
No, I don't
What would that dynamic be?
No, I don't want to be that.
Haven't you solved it yet, Maron, in a Scottish accent?
Well, I could say, like, when I could pretend, well, we could be, like, I could be your boss on loan from Scotland Yard.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it starts because we have to solve an international caper.
Right, it's an international crime, and I'm like, oh, do come along, Maron. Put on your trousers and let's go and solve this crime.
Is that
You'd
how
be
you're
like,
gonna dress?
I don't speak your limey douchebag language.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, now, do you enjoy tea?
Yeah.
Look, a murderer. It'd work well.
Would you say things like, that's not the proper way to question?
That's right. You question like this. I say.
Yeah.
Where were you, Inspector?
Will you be smoking a pipe and wearing a hat?
Nah, it's too on the nose.
Oh.
I'd be smoking a hat and wearing a pipe.
Oh, shit.
That would be my.
That's that absurd imagination you have.
I'd be deconstructed.
Yeah, I think it's fucking brilliant. And I'd be naked, I think.
That's too much.
Oh,
that's cable.
We're
still talking about CBS.
Oh, that's right. I thought maybe we could produce it here and sell it to Showtime.
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't work that way?
Let it go. I'm over it. Let go. I'm not doing it.
Let's go back to...
I quit the show. I just quit the show. I quit the show I never did with you.
Now I'm fucking hung out to dry because you won't renegotiate your contract?
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
Because I showed up on set naked once?
That's it. You even talked about it.
Change things. Mm-hmm. All right, so... Let's get to the drinking part.
Oh God, I thought you'd never ask.
No, but what was your parents' plan for you? I mean, what were you heading towards?
I think what they would have liked is if I had gotten some kind of trade in the shipyards or something, like a welder or an electrician or something.
Did you start going that direction?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went to. I worked at an American factory called Burroughs Machines.
Burroughs Machines? Yeah. That's the Burroughs family.
Yeah, it was the Burroughs family. It was William Burroughs' family.
Distant,
yeah. I mean, there were some hallucinogenics taken when I was working there. But not by any members of the Burroughs family. No. Only by me and a couple of other apprentices.
But you did look at the factory slogan there, the brand name, Burroughs.
Burroughs. So I thought,
we're close.
Hallucinogens will be required. Maybe a heroin habit.
Yeah.
So I did work for them for a couple of years as a trainee electronics technician.
Did you carry any of that into your adult life? Can you fix shit?
No, I can't.
I
can fly airplanes, but I learned that.
But that's new, isn't it?
Huh?
That's new, right?
Yeah, that's much later on. But I wonder if that's not connected in some way. That, like, I desire. There's a great deal of order required in both of them, and there are absolute rules, and that's different to show business. So I guess that's what was kind of attractive.
So are you a latent control freak of some kind?
I don't think there's anything latent about it. I think that the control freak thing though is, hey Aaron, can you close that door, please? See, I said please. See, and I'm like, thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
So I think that control, because there's so little of it in show, but you know this, comic. There's so little control. What you can control is how you handle the audience.
Right.
That's what you get to control. So, and everything else you don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
You don't have that much freedom on your show? I mean,
on this show?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Especially as time goes on. The longer I'm on the air, the more they just don't know what to do. They let you do stuff. The thing is, the network were always kind of like that. They've always been very cool with me.
Why?
I think because I knew Les before I came here.
Moonves, the
Yeah,
head of CBS.
Moonves was, he hired me at Warner Brothers for the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
It was like one of my first jobs when I came to America. So when I went up for this job, I kind of had we had a kind of pre-existing relationship, and because he's actually very cool. Guys who are at the very top are usually pretty cool. It's the ones in the middle who are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, the frightened ones.
Yeah, because they're frightened that the guy at the top's going to
Right.
give them a hard time. But the guys who are actually not, worried about that, they tend to be pretty cool. So he was always very cool, and Letterman was completely hands-off about the whole thing. He didn't really care, I don't think, as long as it didn't embarrass him in some way.
What's the relationship there? He just has say over the time slot?
Who, Dave?
Yeah.
Dave's company owns the production company that makes the show. That's the extent.
And you don't deal with him at all?
No. I mean, I see Dave when I go to New York, but, like...
Because you have to? Like, hey...
No, not really. I do the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Dave. It's David Letterman. He's a comedy icon. I mean...
Right. And he's not that accessible, really.
No, I don't hang out with Dave,
Yeah.
but I don't know how many people do.
That's right, yeah. But do you feel like you're next in line, or what?
No, I don't want to get into that. I think when I watched what happened to Conan and all of that stuff, be careful with what you try and get and what you wish for. I mean, it led to such unhappiness for everybody. I think the desire they pay me pretty good to do this show, and I get to do what I want. And I think, having ambitions for, Dave's crown is not really a way to happiness for me.
Well, no, but not necessarily ambitions. But, I mean, obviously the conversations are had. I'm just saying, whether it's an ambition or not, is the conversation there?
No, really. I think the conversations are had, but not with me in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they've been had, but they've not been had.
Would you do the job?
No. No, I don't think I would.
Too much pressure?
I would do it if they'd let me do what I do, but I would never do it I wouldn't want to have happened to me what happened to Conan on the Tonight Show. I wouldn't want that.
Right.
Where he got, he tried to make a different show and it made him unhappy and ultimately unsuccessful. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, it'd be interesting because, not unlike Conan's old show. I mean, your audience it's like 10 people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Not even some nights, I think.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 people. They need you guys.
Well, it depends if you're on. Then, I lose most of them.
Then it's just the people.
Then it's just your family.
Right, just the people I brought. Sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. That was comfortable for me.
Well, it doesn't matter to me as long as CBS are cool.
And you weren't
as long
there.
as the robot's still plugged in and the horse still runs out.
You left anyways.
I wasn't there. like the show. I wasn't even watching.
Yeah, you took off,
show.
man.
Yeah.
And then when they cut it in, you acted like, okay, thank you, Marc Maron.
Yeah. Did I do finger pistols at you? That's how you know.
Oh no, is that your trick?
Yeah,
that's how you
I do finger pistols off camera,
trick?
and then that's how if you want to look like my buddy on the show, you record your comedy bit.
Yeah,
do finger pistols
at the end. Okay,
gives me a nice cut and,
all right.
edit point.
So you started on the Drew Carey Show, but going back, just after you got done, when you quit your life, no electrical work. You didn't go to college?
No.
What happened after that?
I was drinking all through high school.
Right.
We all kind of did.
It's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Being Scottish?
Bit. Yeah.
Is that wrong of me to say?
No, I think it's ingrained in the culture, and I think it's not for everyone. I mean, I'd hate to give the idea that all Scottish people are as fucked up as I am. That's not true. There are some fabulously gifted, talented people. I just wasn't. And
you're obviously talented. I mean,
sure, in an unusual way for someone of my socio-economic group of that time to be. I mean, I had a talent which was completely fucking worthless.
Right.
There were no comedy clubs. There was no outlet for it other than it was a survival technique. It wasn't really a career choice.
Right.
And what happened was that because I had played drums and stuff, my older brother had a drum kit, so it was in the house and I'd play it. He got bored with it and I continued to play with it. And then I joined band. The punk rock happened when I was 15 and everybody was in a fucking band. Everybody. So I had a drum kit, so I got to be in any band I wanted to be in because most people didn't have drum kits.
Could you play?
Yeah, I'm okay, and And then I got into bands in Glasgow, which is a slightly bigger deal. You know, these bands had, you know, were playing gigs and had a van and were touring and playing in London.
Did you make records?
Yeah, I made a couple bad ones.
Which ones? Which
independent
band?
Records. Oh God, there were a band called Exposure.
Yeah.
And a band called the Dream Boys, but this was before Naked Stripper,
right?
Stripper, Dream Boys. It was more H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh yeah.
Boys. Oh yeah.
Gothic.
Gothic. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were kind of even pre. You can't be pre-Gothic if you're in this century, but you know what I'm talking about.
But you were was it hardcore punk or just?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was actual punk rock. It hadn't taken hold as being this kind of subsection that it is now. It was beginning.
Right. Sure.
So there was a kind of outcast feel to
right.
it. It was really for snotty fucking losers is what punk was for, and it really worked for me. You know, now it's kind of like it's almost like a fashion choice, I think.
Sure. I mean, it got integrated later.
Yeah, sure.
But
everything does, but for a while there it wasn't, and I think it got me at a very pivotal point in my life because, you know, instead of love and peace, it was hate and war. Instead of, you know, it was like fuck everything.
Yeah.
Anybody over, you know, 20s not to be trusted. All that.
Did you feel that? Were you an angry guy?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Full of the hate?
Yeah.
Did you kick some ass? Did you beat some people up?
I think I probably, on balance, was beat up more than I did any beating up. I hit a few people pretty hard, but I got beat up pretty good.
It seems like fighting is part of that whole thing. Being Scottish
fighting and whiskey kind of goes together. I mean, it's like that particular. Like if tequila is a particular madness, whiskey for me certainly whiskey was a fighting. You drink whiskey, you go fighting. I mean, that's just
really
that's the way it felt. Yeah.
But you usually got your ass kicked.
Yeah, I'd say 60-40.
What was your whiskey?
Well, I ended up. I mean, I would drink blended whiskeys when I was a punk kid, but when I had my chance, I would drink Highland Park. You ever drink Highland Park? It's a whiskey made in Orkney, which are islands off the north coast of Scotland.
Had you been there?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Did you went to the factory?
No, I never went. By the time I went there, it wasn't a good idea for me to go to the factory. But
I want to see the guy that makes my thing.
Yeah, no, I didn't. By the time if I was going at that point, I'd say I want to see the guy that was trying to kill me. But no, I drank whiskey and I drank beer and just got all fucked up. But anyway, that's how I kind of drifted into show business because of the punk rock thing. That's what opened the door in a weird way.
How so?
Because it was an acceptable form of show business for working class boys. And nothing really was before that. You couldn't say to someone, I want to be an actor. You get your fucking head kicked in.
Right.
You know, this is before fucking Train Spotting or any of that. There's no fucking
It's not before James Bond.
No, it's not before James Bond. But, I mean, Sean Connery went to London and was dancing on the stage of... You know,
right, so the idea, so that would be worse to say.
That would be terrible, yeah. But the thing is, that's why Sean Connery is so fucking tough, because he became an actor out of a tough neighbourhood in Edinburgh in the he was what, 1950s when he came to prominence?
Yeah.
That would be fucking bad.
Yeah, you couldn't sell that. I want to dance and then perhaps...
Yeah, I'd like to be on the stage doing South Pacific. There is nothing like a dame. That's what he was doing. You can't imagine it, but that's what it was like. That big hairy man. Valley High is calling.
Is that an easier impression to do for you because you're Scottish?
Oh, it's
is it just a
it's
tweak?
in the curriculum.
It is?
Yeah, you learn it in second grade in Scotland.
Yeah.
Sean Connery and Michael Caine.
Is Michael Caine Scottish?
Easy, very easy. I don't know why. Just simple, easy, very easy to do. Bish bosh, diggly dong, bing, splash. There you go. Budge. All right, Batman.
He's so good. The two of them and The Man Who Would Be King.
Best
what
fucking
a great
movie.
fucking
Best
movie.
You know, though, when they were trying to make that, John Huston was trying to make that movie, he started off with Errol Flynn and Humphrey Bogart. That's how long it fucking took him to make that movie.
It's a weird movie because it's really like a strange Freemason movie.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's a secret society movie.
Yeah,
and it's like and they trace it all the way back. It's great.
It's a fantastic movie. It's
the end of that
wrote the story.
Yeah, the end of that movie is awesome.
Yeah, when they sing on the bridge. Yeah, he sings on the bridge, and then Michael Caine gets the head.
He gets the head.
Oh.
Brings it back.
Yeah, that's right. 10 shillings was 10 shillings to pint Major McCrinnan.
So all right. So how'd you get started doing comedy in a punk band outside of it, the ironic part of it?
Well, you see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, there was punk rock there was this kind of slight. It was a kind of a movement called alternative comedy in Britain, and it was different a little bit than what they call alternative.
It was
comedy
older. It was
now.
before. It was who were they? Not Simon Munnery. It was.
Yeah, it was Alexi Sale
Yeah.
and Rick Mail and Ed Edmondson and
The 70s? Late 70s?
Late 70s, yeah. These guys are all about 5 or 6 years older than me, which means nothing now, but meant a lot then.
Right.
So they were in their early 20s, and I was in my teens.
So they were kind of doing the sort of punk rock equivalent of
Right.
comedy.
It was very informed by punk rock.
Yeah.
And so when it led to shows like The Young Ones, and,
Right.
And that kind of thing. But it was that was how it happened, because in punk rock or in music circles then, there was a great love of the idea of some kind of anarchic comedy, and so a lot of times bands would be introduced by comedians, and that's kind of how I started.
You said you could do that? You thought in your head?
No, the rest of the band thought I could do it. I actually would never have put myself up for it, and I did do it. The first time I did it was at a punk festival at the ICA Gallery in London, and I was wearing a kilt because I thought that would be funny. And I was so nervous, my knees were actually moving. You could see them moving, and all these Cockney punks down the front were shouting, "It's knees a knocking, it's knees a knocking, it's knees a knocking." It's like, oh, fuck, this is awful.
They saw through you.
It was like, it was the worst feeling I ever had in my life. I couldn't wait to do it again.
And you went up as you?
Yeah. I went up as a character called Bing Hitler, because I thought that would get their attention, but I never thought beyond
The name?
So I said, "Good evening, I'm Bing Hitler," and then I got a laugh, and then I had nothing. It's like, oh, shit. And then it's days are knocking. But it was odd, though, that there's a very odd feeling now, and only professional comedians who have survived any length of time, I think, understand this. The failure is almost as exhilarating as the success. The failing on stage is almost as much fun. In a weird,
Is it fun?
twisted fucking way.
Well, I always felt that, like, you know exactly who you are and what you're doing.
Right.
And
there's a romance to it.
You're all alone in front of 100 people.
It's like any misery you've ever felt in your life is no more. It's not self-pity anymore. You're completely accurate. Everybody fucking hates you.
And you can feel it in your
You
chest.
can feel it, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Is that fun?
There's a certain attraction.
It's exhilarating.
To it. Yeah, there's a certain attraction to it. Yeah.
Once you can own it, once that moment where you're like, oh, this is going badly.
Yeah.
And I can't go anywhere.
I once saw Lou Black die on stage at the Edinburgh Festival, and it was one of the most horrendously difficult, angry crowds I'd ever seen in my life. And I didn't know Lou at the time, and I watched him, and he was having a terrific time.
Was he going at him?
Yeah, he was. He was opening up on him. He was fucking fearless. And see, people talk about comedians being fearless. There's nothing fearless when the room's with you.
No.
When the room's with you, there's nothing fucking fearless in that. Like,
It's great.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
You could sleep through it.
Yeah. When the room's fucking 100%.
Then you're like in it.
Fucking.
Let's go.
You can mix it up a little.
Yeah.
Bit. That's fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine him for him tanking with the amount of energy he brings to a performance.
It was great to watch. He was really great, and I talked to him about it.
How many?
Later,
That must have been years ago.
It was a long time
before he was big.
Yeah, it was before he became successive.
Right, I remember him then because he was doing the same kind of thing then.
Right,
it was always
but he hadn't quite honed it, I guess, or it hadn't become.
He wasn't on the Daily Show yet.
Right, well, there wasn't that. And they just were. Oh, they were terrible to him.
I was there once in Edinburgh. I'll never go back.
Really, you didn't like it?
Well, I didn't have any cachet. I was there with small audiences. It was a real fight to get people in, and it was just like I don't like crowds, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And that thing is such a clusterfuck, and it's a month. It's a month.
Were you sober when you went?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's your problem. I did my first 5 Edinburgh festivals before I got sober. After I got sober, I did it twice and never went back.
When did you get sober?
92.
Well, you've been sober a while.
Yeah, it's coming up on 20 years.
Oh, you're an old statesman.
Yeah, getting that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaking me out, actually. It's actually in about 2 weeks from now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, 10
So
days.
what did being Hitler evolve into then to get you a career?
You know, I started doing some character stuff about, some very, very Scottish things with this name that became a character. The name was actually one of the other guys, Peter Capaldi, who's now a very famous actor in Britain. He thought up the name. And I stole it from him. And then I turned it into this kind of mad Scottish, if it's not Scottish, it's crap character. But before that was on Saturday Night Live. And then I kind of just did that. And then when you do that, I guess what happened was that theatres and stuff, because there was no comedy club, so I would do it in bars. But the bars is where, like, theatre directors and actors and shit would work. Like, it wasn't all working men's bars. It was some kind of arty bars. So, like, Michael Boyd at the Tron Theatre, this guy who since went on to the Royal Shakespeare Company, he was running a tiny little theatre in Glasgow called the Tron Theatre. And he said, you should come and do stuff in the theatre. And I'm like, fuck yeah, because they're sitting down and they're pointed at you. Yeah, and the bar's not even in the same room.
They're not saying your knees are knocking.
Yeah, I mean, they want you to succeed. And they did. And he used to have this kind of talent night. The first thing I did, he had a talent night in the bar, the Gong Show, and people would get gonged off, you know. And I did it one night, and I came second. I did well. I lost to a very old man, a very old Scotsman who played Ghost Riders in the Sky on a harmonica, and he should have won. He was fucking great.
He can't top that.
You look at that.
Old guy and harmonica. Yeah.
You be Richard Pryor. This guy's going to beat you.
Yeah.
You know, and he was fantastic.
What did you do?
I did my shtick. I did my.
What'd that look like? It was this character?
Yeah, and a comedy song.
Right, but as a character, like you were mocking the Scottish thing?
Yeah, I was like a super kind of extra. I guess the equivalent now is if you did a very, very right-wing conservative character. It would be a similar kind of parody. I suppose.
And who were the guys in? I mean, was Billy Connolly around? Who were
Billy
your models?
was the only one. Billy was the only.
The only comic in
Scotland. Yeah, there's only one I'd ever heard of. You know, Billy was the only one. Billy was like Elvis. Before Billy, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And there was no others. None.
Yeah.
And then
he certainly is good though.
Oh, he's fantastic. You ever seen him live?
Yeah.
My God. He does 2.5 hours.
Well, I was at the Aspen Comedy Festival, and he was sitting eating breakfast by himself, and he knew I was doing a one-person show there, and he invited me to eat breakfast with him. The thing about Billy is the charisma doesn't change.
Right.
Like, so you're sitting there eating breakfast with that.
And he's full on, yeah. No, the thing about Billy is he does 2.5 hours, then he comes off stage and looks for another 2.5 hours to do before.
Yeah.
It's like a tick with him. He doesn't stop.
Did you do that kind of storytelling?
I do now.
I see that now. Yeah.
I didn't immediately. I think that comes after with a bit of confidence. I
a little
think to
more
ask the
age.
Audience, yeah, well, and also a bit. It's difficult to ask an audience to go with you when you're fighting every line to get a laugh. You know, so if you don't have the confidence to ask the audience to make a journey with you, it's going to be a while before you start telling any stories. That's definitely a confidence. That was a couple of years before I started doing that.
Well, how much alcohol was it fueling your confidence?
I don't know. I mean, whenever I get asked,
were you drunk on stage?
Oh yes.
To the point where it would get ugly, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I hit a guy once in the Rock Garden in Glasgow. Hit a heckler.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get the audience back once
blood is drawn.
Once you hit one of them, it's very hard to get them. Anyway.
Yeah. Some guy's going, my eye! My eye!
Well, I laid him out, actually.
You did?
Yeah, he fucking needed it, little prick.
And you didn't have the audience on your side?
No. Well, I did, right up to the point where I fucking put him on the deck, and then the tables turned. So ultimately he won, I suppose.
So when did you come to the States?
I came over, it was kind of like intermittently. I came over early on when I was 21 years old. I met this girl and we went to New York City.
Yeah.
And I was working in construction to earn. I was an illegal immigrant.
Illegal immigrant.
Yeah. So I was in New York City. I was living in the East Village, and
Where in the East Village?
11th Street, above Venero's Bakery.
I know where that is.
Yeah, exactly.
What year?
84.
No shit. I was on second between A and B.
I used to
in
do the
89.
door at Save the Robots.
That was right on my corner.
When Save the Robots opened up, I was on the door there. Dmitry Solzhenitsyn, who opened the club, I knew him.
It was the After Hours Club.
Oh, yeah, I didn't open until 3.
Yeah, I was there. I was there in '89. That's when I lived there.
Well, no, 89, I was already long gone. I'd gone back to Scotland.
Ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Save the Robots. You were a bouncer?
First couple of nights it was open, yeah.
And that was it?
Yeah, I'm not cut out for that.
So you were there 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, I still went. I just didn't have an official title after that.
So you're working construction, hanging out after hours to save the robots?
Yeah, and working in a dance theater group.
You were dancing?
Yeah, the American Moderns Dance Theater.
How the fuck did you end up there?
This gay guy came up to me in a bar and said, "Do you want to be in my dance troupe?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And actually, it was for real. And I joined this. It was a theater company.
Did you know how to dance?
No, it's experimental dance. You just, put on a leotard and wave your arms around.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would go up to. They had this big studio at the New York City Ballet, and they would, everybody would go and dance and shit. I was really there to have sex with the girls, and there's very little.
And disappoint the guy that got you into the troupe.
Well, so them's the breaks.
Yeah.
But the thing is though. It worked out because I kind of enjoyed it, and I was 21.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. You can do anything. I could do anything.
Yeah.
I'd work all day, do coke all night. Then fucking nothing touched me.
Yeah.
If I have a fucking, if I have a steak after 9 o'clock at night, I have a fucking hangover for 3 days. Now.
Yeah, and it's bad, right? It's bad. Getting old it's hard on your body.
It's not for pussies.
No. A lot of people get out of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then you go back to Scotland, and then how do you all of a sudden have an American television show business career? Did you do TV there?
So I'm doing this Bing Hitler thing, and it starts taking off.
Bing Hitler still existing?
Yes, I start doing it, and
you add more to it.
Add more to it. Add a little more character to it. It starts becoming a bit of a thing. It's kind of fun.
What's the character?
It's characters, like I say. It's like
that guy. It's still that guy. All right.
So then what happens is I'm working at the Tron Theatre in Glasgow, and I'm doing the Edinburgh Festival.
You did you put together an hour. You called it Bing Hitler.
Yeah, it was half hour. I was sharing the stage with 4 guitar players from Dundee who played Django Reinhardt songs.
Really?
Yeah, they were good.
That's hard. Yeah.
So they were on for the first half hour, and then I'd be on for the second half hour, and weirdly enough, it was a huge fucking underground hit. I mean, the show didn't start till 1 a.m. And because I was like the only Scottish comedian, I think for a lot of people there, just the idea of seeing a Scottish comedian while you were in Edinburgh, and then why not? And also because it's pretty good, I was drunk, but I was on it. You know? And by that time I'd racked up a little bit of airtime. I mean, I'd done some work in New York. I'd done a little bit at the Comedy Store when Lucian Hold was there.
At the comic strip.
Sorry. And I had done a little bit in the theater, the American Modern Dance Theater, which was this gay bar downtown, which became Coyote Ugly.
Oh yeah.
Right, it was like First and 9 or something like that. And then it was doing okay. And I did the Edinburgh Festival, and I got an agent from London. This agent from London came to see me and said, you can do well. And so I got some gigs actually in comedy clubs where Alexi Sale was playing, where Rick was playing, where, these guys were. And then...
Like Jongleurs and stuff, or
right,
Comedy Store?
I never actually played Jongleurs, but I played all the other ones.
Comedy Store?
Comedy Store and all these things. And eventually what happened is...
As Bing Hitler.
Yeah, all the Bing Hitler stuff. And then... Bruce Hills and Andy Nullman turn up from the
Montreal.
Right, and then it's a Scottish comedian. They're trying to have an international festival. They find a comedian from Scotland. They're like, "Fuck,
found one.
We got one."
And Billy.
Right. So and they can't get Billy because he's too expensive. So they get me.
Yeah.
And I go over and I do well in Montreal.
What year's that?
It's 87. Now I drop the Bing Hitler thing. I start using my own name and I do stand up, and I'm still drunk, and it's not as good. But 2 years later, I go back to Montreal, 89. This time, I've lost a little weight. I'm kind of, that inconsistent way drunks are. Some nights they're great, some nights they're not so great. So one night, I go out on the gala, and I fucking kill. It's just great. CBS, in 1989, fly me in here to L.A., and say, we'll put you on a deal. They give me a deal. I do a pilot. When you get this, I do a pilot with Gwyneth Paltrow, Zach Braff, and a couple of other people who are they're like in their late teens at the time. I'm in my I'm like 25, 26. And it's this about high school, where they're at a high school and I'm the teacher, and I'm out of my fucking mind the whole pilot.
What, just booze or blow too?
Blow by this time,
yeah,
a little bit, but mostly my thing was booze.
Yeah,
anyway. And blow was just a kind of
keep
like
you
a
drinking.
Vitamin,
sure,
it's a vitamin for drinking.
Yeah,
and then I did that, and the pilot didn't go, so I think I'm fucked in America. I'll never work again. So I go back to Britain, and I get a theatre job playing Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror Show in the West End in London. And it's wall-to-wall drinking.
That's already a revival at that
right,
point.
Right,
yeah.
but it's a big show. It's
right,
a big West End
yeah.
show, right? So I'm in the show, and the show's doing well, and then I run out of steam. I just run out of steam, and I
Burnt
get
out.
sober. You know, I know
92.
some people who, you know,
How bad did that bottom look?
well, you know, I was.
Was it dark? Was it like
Yeah,
it's over?
I've talked a lot about it.
Oh, you have?
You know, it's kind of like, yeah, I was suicidal and stuff. You know,
For real or just self-pitying?
You know, I'll never know. I guess self-pity because here I am. So I guess not for real, but you know, it felt real at the time.
But you never tried.
No, seriously. You know, I thought deeply about
Right,
it.
yeah. Because it's relieving.
It's,
that's what selfish people do.
Comforting nature.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then after I get sober, that's when things began to change. I mean, I've been sober now almost 20 years. I've been sober much longer than I ever drank alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think the danger is, this is why I never go on Dr. Drew or any of these shows and talk about alcoholism. It's very difficult for me to define my life by that one thing. I'm still an alcoholic is beyond doubt, but it doesn't mean to say that alcohol is a problem in my life, because it's not. It fucking could be in a heartbeat, but it's not right now. So I don't really kind of try. I try to stay away from that kind of professional.
It's a little. Well, it's
thing.
a little exploitive, and it's also like it honors the sort of the parameters of the secret society. Is that you know? I mean, when you represent the disease, if you are getting sober in the way that many of us get sober, you know, you're supposed to keep it to yourself because, you know,
well, yeah,
it
because
has to work on its own.
I don't speak for any other.
Yeah.
The organization, as loose as it is, that got me sober, I am not a spokesman for.
That's
so
right.
I can't speak for
and they don't want you to either.
They don't want me to. They've told me they don't want me to.
Like if I needed some help and we turned the mics off, we'd have a conversation.
Then that'd be a different thing.
Yeah.
But when the microphone's on, they have specific instructions about what I can and can't say. And many people within that loose
they still do,
affiliation,
yeah, sure.
They do it, and they've also accused me of doing it. And I say, go back and look, motherfucker. I've never mentioned it.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Because I don't. I never mentioned
it. It never. It was brought up to me by somebody because I've talked about it on the show, and they say the reason that they say you don't talk about it is because if you go down, then you're bringing that down with you.
Right, of course.
I never thought about it like that.
I mean, it's like, if you go down, then people can go, well, look, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Look, see?
Yeah, look at that asshole.
10 other guys die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really try and respect that. I mean, I do respect it.
Well, the interesting thing about sobriety is that it's much more difficult to be sober than it is to drink. Yeah. And really actually stopping drinking once you get the hang of it is the easier part of it.
Yeah.
It's fighting that fucking itch and that weird discontentment and that weird neediness and fucking, you know, I mean, that's the evolution, right?
Yeah. But I'm at the point now where I don't know. I mean, though I subscribe to the notion that alcoholism is a disease and it's treated as like a disease, you will recover from it like it's a disease. I think with me it's not a disease. I think with me it's a character description.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
A description?
Yeah, it's I'm a personality type. What's your personality type?
Right.
Alcoholic. Some people are winter, some people are summer. I'm a fucking alcoholic.
And alcoholic covers a few different things.
Right. It's just what I am.
Sure.
You know? So I can no more be cured of my personality.
Right.
Then I can't be cured of my personality. I've tried. By drinking, paradoxically. So.
But there's also there's the alcoholic personality type, but like if you deal with it and you work through it, and you're not dry, you're not like sort of cranky and edgy and controlling.
There are ways to relieve the symptoms.
Right,
absolutely.
Yeah, right. And then you become a talk show host or something.
Well, the talk show host thing is kind of a weird. That kind of snuck up on me. I had no desire to ever do that, and I actually don't even know if I am a talk show host now. I think what I am is a kind of, there's a, what we used to call in Scotland, a chancer.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking just fell into it.
Well, what happened? So you so you go back, you do Rocky Horror, you do some TV in UK, and then they fly you back for Drew Carey?
No, then I get sober. Then I start doing stand-up. And after about 6-7 months of being sober, I started doing stand. I hadn't done stand-up for a while because I was doing this West End show, so I have 18 months off or something. I do stand-up. First couple don't go so great, but I stay with it. Then I go.
What day do you feel shaky?
Yeah, afraid. You know, I was a lot of fear. And then they go okay. Then they get better. Then I realize I'm much fucking better. I'm not as good as I thought I was, but I'm far, far, far better than I had ever been.
Right.
And so a balance began to get struck, and I started to do shows, and the shows were doing okay. And I was repairing my reputation in Britain pretty well. You know,
you had burned some bridges?
Yeah, I think, but things were, people were very forgiving. And after a while, they'd seen that I'd been sober for a year and a half.
And you were out of the character now, no more being Hitler.
No more bang, just me.
So were they tired of being Hitler anyways?
I don't know if they were, but I was. You know what I mean? And I guess what happened was that I was doing well, and things were doing okay in Britain, and then I did the Edinburgh Festival again, 1994. This time I'm sober.
An hour?
I'm doing an hour now, and it's a big theatre, and it's a big hit show.
What was it called?
It was just me doing stand-up, and I called the show Love, Sex, Death, and the Weather. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing the show, and the show is reviewed well. It's packed every night. They add extra shows, all that good stuff that you wish would happen to you in Edinburgh. I got one, and that was it. And, I got the other one much earlier when I was drinking, but that was a kind of underground thing. This was big.
This big, the Scotsman gave you the good reviews?
Yeah, all of that.
Did you win the festival?
No, I wasn't even in competition. It was it was too big. You know? I mean, and what happened was that an American manager who had seen me in Montreal years before.
Who's that?
Guy from New York called Rick Siegel.
I know Rick Siegel.
And Rick had seen me drinking.
I met him, yeah.
Yeah, Rick had, he'd busted me on the Big Hitler name, and I got talking, because Rick's a Jew. And I was like, no, it's nothing anti-Semitic. See the act. And he saw the act, and he's like, oh, right, I get it. And then we became kind of buddies, and I liked him. And when I met him again in Edinburgh in '94, he said to me, what the fuck have you done? He said, you've lost 35 pounds and you look 20 years younger. What the fuck? I said, I quit drinking. And he's like, you have got to come to America. You've got to come. You've got to come now. And I was like, actually, I don't want to now because I'm just taking care of shit here. Yeah. He said, come for 3 weeks. I said, I can't. It's too long. I said, all right, 10 days. Give me 10 days, I'll get you a deal in the U.S. And I went, all right, you get me a deal in 10 days. So I took a vacation, came to California in November of '94 for 10 days. And he trotted me around everywhere, and eventually after 10 days, I got a holding deal for pilot season with Disney. And then they brought me over for pilot season the following January '95. On my third audition for a pilot, I get this pilot with Betty White. Betty White and Marie Osmond. Mm-hmm. It's called Maybe This Time. Yeah. So I do the pilot, and I think, oh, fine, I'll do that, get that out of the way. The pilot gets fucking picked up. The show goes on the air on ABC. Mm-hmm. After about a dozen, maybe less, I go to the producer of the pilot, Michael Jacobs, and say, I got to quit. This is the worst fucking show. I hate it. And he's like, are you crazy? Nobody quits a pilot. You're a show. Nobody quits a show. You don't quit a sitcom. Yeah. This is you. You'll never have to work again if this thing goes. I'm like, I like working, and I don't like doing this. This is bullshit. So he was like, oh, you got to go talk to Disney. So I go and talk to Dean Valentine, who at that time was the head of Disney Television. Yeah. And I say, I want out of here. And everyone's like, oh, you'll never get out. And he goes, all right. And he paid me to the end of the season.
Really?
Yeah. Ever that guy needs me to collect his groceries or, give his kids an intern at the show or anything like that, and he can just call me. That's cool.
Yeah?
He let me out.
But did you still have the same relationship with them, or it was done?
No, we were done. The deal was over. They canceled the show. He knew he was going to cancel the show. And I saw him after that, later on, at a party. Yeah. And I said, I can't thank you enough for what you did. And he said, look, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at this show, and I'm thinking, you've got a future in this town, but this show fucking doesn't. Who do I make friends with?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
That was great.
Yeah,
that's a good story.
Yeah,
that's a good politics story.
Yeah, he was
show
terrific,
business politics.
Smart.
Yes.
And I was out of that show. I fucked around, went for a couple of auditions, and then I get this job to audition for the Hispanic photographer on a new show. This is how bad casting is. A new show they're making called Suddenly Susan with Brooke Shields.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Right, so they bring me in to be the Hispanic photographer. I, do my Latino accent. Everybody's fucking laughing their ass off. It's terrible. And then at the end of it, Tony Sepulveda, who's head of casting at that time at Warner Brothers, said, "That's the worst Latino accent I ever heard." I went, "Yeah." And he said, But the Drew Carey show, which is a year in, is looking for an English boss. Can you do an English accent? And that's when I said, "Si, senor, yes, I can." and they gave me 3 episodes on Drew Carey. And they just, after 2 episodes, they said, "You want to stay?" And I went, "Yeah." And I stayed.
And that's how you planted your flag.
That's it. It's the story.
And that was for him. But then you were done with that.
Yeah.
You made a lot of money, and you were just hanging around.
Lost it all, though.
Doing what? Divorce.
Well, divorce. It's pretty expensive.
Gamble.
No.
Just regular stuff.
Yeah, just divorce. Divorce is enough, man.
Horrendous.
Lost it all of it. All of it.
Have you let that go?
7 years of prime time. Yeah, I have now. I mean, I've been doing this show longer than I did Drew Carey, so, that's what it is.
Isn't that fucking criminal?
Well, yeah, I got to say, I'm at peace with it now, but it took a while.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Because between the lawyers and what they get.
It's all the lawyers. The lawyers get most of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
And because the lawyers, they turn out your ex because they don't trust you anymore.
Right.
So they're going to trust the lawyer.
Right.
And the lawyer's telling them, "Oh, he's hiding money."
Right. All of that. And they do all that, and they create discord so that they can keep it open.
Yeah.
Because resolution means the end of the revenue.
I know.
So
so even you can't trust your lawyer.
Right. You can't trust anybody. It doesn't make sense.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
All right. So you didn't want to be a talk show host. So how'd that offer reveal itself?
Well, what happened is Kilborn famously quits. Right. He's doing this show and he quits. He didn't like the money or something like that. I mean, I think it was as simple as that.
Good decision he made, huh? He's done all right for himself.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
Where is he?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know why he did it. But you know what? I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
So he did it, and then, it was pretty, most people remember what happened. They had a bunch of people try out for this show, a lot of different.
I think I might have.
Yeah.
No, I didn't make the cut.
No, Michael Ian Black did,
Yeah.
and he came pretty close. He was my stiffest competition, I think, Michael. And they narrowed it down to 4. It was Michael Ian Black, D.L. Hughley, me, and Damien Fahey. And then I got it,
Do you know what was the decision process?
LaSalle. Peter LaSalle was what did it.
Yeah.
Peter LaSalle was a producer of this show to this day.
And the Tonight Show, right?
Tonight Show for 30 years. He took Dave over to CBS when the whole NBC Leno Letterman thing happened. He mentored Jon Stewart. He was
very complimentary of my stand-up.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Because if he doesn't like your stand-up, he won't talk to you.
Yeah, no, it was very exciting to meet him.
Yeah,
you weren't there, of course.
No, no, that comes later. That's when Peter says, "You should see this guy. He's good."
We're going to put him on your show tonight.
Yeah,
we have tape of him.
Peter's a legend doing this.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
And so what happened was I came in and did one night because they'd asked me to do one night.
Right.
And I said to Peter at the time, because I met him and I knew who he was and stuff, and I said, "Thanks for letting me do this. This should be a lark." And
yeah. And, can I get a copy of that tape?
Yeah. And he said to me, I'll never forget it. He said, "This is not a lark." He said, he looked at me right in the eye and he said, "I have one discernible skill, and it is finding guys like you. And if I'm right, you're lightning in a bottle, and you're going to be here for a long time." And I went away and I thought, he's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
And then after I'd done the show for like a week, I was like, "Oh, no, I get it. I should do this." And I do.
You're different than other guys. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You, because, I mean, I grew up watching Letterman. I know John, kind of, from back when we were younger. I know Leno. I watched Carson. I watched Kimmel.
Yep.
You do something that no one does, which is a long form monologue.
Yeah.
You build a relationship with the audience in a genuine way.
Yeah.
The camera becomes sort of eavesdropping on your relationship with the audience, and then you talk directly to the camera. So you're kind of working all angles with the audience.
I also don't have a plan.
No, I know. Yeah, I can see that.
Not just for the show, but for after the show. Like, I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan for the Tonight Show. I don't want the Tonight Show. I don't.
No,
want
but like
these.
your style though, it's just like you kind of improv. It feels raw.
It is. I mean, I have some material.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
I have good writers on the show who provide me with good shit to do in the monologue, and then the rest of it, we'll figure it out. Like that the opening part of the show, that 3-minute bit at the beginning. I don't know what's going to happen until they say 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we go. And if I bring somebody out of the audience or I do something else,
That's before the credits.
That's before the credits.
So that makes it all very real to you.
No, I don't shoot that until after the monologue.
You don't?
No, because I got to be pumping for that thing to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I shoot the monologue first.
And then you riff?
And then I riff.
Ah.
But I riff during the monologue. The more I riff during the monologue, because the monologue isn't written like I'm reading it. The monologue's bulleted.
Bullet points, yeah.
Right, so I do it, and if I start, like some nights I do maybe 20% of what's even bulleted.
Right.
And if that's what happens, then, then we're off to the races.
But you're not really doing monologue jokes. You're doing long form, kind of like weave and things.
Tonight we're going to talk about Dickens. So there'll be, Dickens.
Well, that's fresh, because Dickens is in the news
200
right now.
years old today.
Oh, is it today?
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, I don't
Are you
going to
do a Dickensian monologue?
Yeah, I mean, if you get paid by the word, the monologue would be longer.
Yeah. But, all right, so now the interview style, because I've done a lot of shows where I do panel, and I've never been through a pre-interview process like your show. Like, the producer gets on, he's like, all right, where were you born? Where'd you grow up? What day's your birthday? Do you have a favorite fruit? I mean, it was like 30 questions.
Yeah.
And then, what happened was, that means I get out there and I don't know what the fuck you're going to do.
That's right. And neither do I.
Uh-huh.
And then we see, because, all the stuff that they do, like the segment producers who do the pre-interviews.
Yeah.
I pass an eye over it.
Yeah.
But, only so I know, if they've written down something like, his mother just died, so I'm like, all right, don't bring up.
Yeah, right.
That's that's what I'm looking for in the pre-interview.
Oh, so just what not to talk about.
Yeah, where's the fucking potholes, just in case.
Right.
So he's a deeply committed Scientologist. I don't want to come up and start talking to you about Scientology.
How shitty L. Ron Hubbard is.
Right, or, I don't want to do anything like that.
Yeah.
Because that's, why the
But
fuck
you just want it to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a good way to go. Some more people are doing it that way. But I find that, sometimes, do you think you're a good interviewer?
No, I don't actually. I think
why?
I think what I am is I'm a good conversationalist. I can talk to people. But if you've got something you want to keep from me, you can keep it from me.
Well, no, but I mean, in the sense that, clearly the type of interview you're doing is different than what I'm doing here. We're not talking for an hour. You're talking for 7 minutes, maybe 12 if it's two segments. I
approach it the same way. It's like, well, I'll talk until they flash a light saying, stop.
Right. Right, but do you have trouble sometimes with guests?
Oh yeah.
I mean, because sometimes, you'll talk a lot.
Yeah, well, you'll know that's when I'm having trouble. When the guest is not talking, then I'm like, one of us has got to fucking talk. So it's going to be you or it's going to be me, but one of us has got to do it.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, then fuck them. It's my show. I don't want it to suck, so I'm going to keep talking. You'll come on my show and make it suck by being an asshole. If you're going to be an asshole, you're going to have to do it in your own fucking time. And I'll keep talking, and I want the audience laughing, and I want to fucking... Yeah.
Do you have a list of assholes?
There's a sin bin. There's a sin bin of people who won't be back.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just bad guests, or you didn't like them?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly it's because they're bad guests. Some people are just because they're fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I view it like it's kind of a business. You don't have to love everybody, but it's a customer.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Come on in. Yeah.
Well, you do. It's show business.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So so you're still doing a lot of stand-up. You've written 2 books. Is that a joy of yours, or is it just something you're done with?
Well, the first one, the novel, was an act of pure love.
What was that called?
Between the Bridge and the River. And that
It got well reviewed.
Yeah, it did well. And I wrote that before I got this job.
Right.
Just before I got this job.
In between
the Drew Carey show and this, I wrote that.
You're going to write a novel.
Yeah. Well, I had done a movie that I was unhappy with. And
written it or been in it?
I had written it, I'd been in it, I directed it.
Oh, and what happened to that?
And then I looked at it and went, I hate this movie.
It's out. It's not available?
It's called I'll Be There. You can get it on DVD.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. And I thought, how the fuck can that happen? If you write a movie and you're star in the movie, and you direct the movie, and it turns out not like you want, how the fuck can that happen?
No one to blame but yourself.
Well, that's where I disagree. I blame myself 90% for that movie. But I blame the producers 10%. They didn't make the same movie as me. They didn't want to make the same movie. They shouldn't have been in business with me. And that's why I take most of the blame, because I shouldn't have been in business.
So it wasn't an independent film. It was.
No, it was for Morgan Creek Productions.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
How'd they ruin it?
It's casting. It's all about casting and development. See that word, development?
Yeah.
Too
many people involved.
Yeah. Too many people who don't do what you do.
Yeah.
It's like having fucking audience members coming up and discussing the joke before you tell it. You go,
right.
no, that's you like it, you don't like it. I don't fucking.
Yeah.
It's not a democracy.
Right.
So the reason I went to the novel is I thought I want to try telling a story where I listen to no one. And take no counsel from anyone about anything they want or think should be in the story.
Yeah.
And then that's when I wrote the novel, and I like it. I'm proud of that novel. It's a good book.
Yeah.
And it's the way I would have it be.
And the memoirs, that's the second book?
Yeah, the memoir is more of a kind of.
I got juice. I can sell a book.
No, that was the beginning of it. What happened was, I had just done the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and so I got a big offer from HarperCollins to do a book, and I said, "Oh, okay, I'll have somebody write it.
I'll talk to somebody.
And I'll take all this fucking money." And then I started to think about who I would do it, and I was angry at non-existent people that I hadn't met for getting my book wrong.
But
And so I wrote it myself. And what happens is, well, you know that. I mean, even if you're doing a shitty gig somewhere, you want it to be the best you can fucking be. You know? And so I started writing the book, thinking, well, I'll do this myself. And then when I got into it, I really it mattered to me, and it does matter to me. And I think I did a good job, and it tells the story as accurately and as honestly as I can remember it.
Right.
It was.
How's your memory?
It's okay, I think.
Isn't it weird? Are you having problems? I mean, I'm 48 and I'm starting to lose things.
No.
You got most
every
of it?
now and again a name will drop out, like like a little air pocket. I'm like,
but I just not because you've lived in a lot of different places as I have too. You still can place everybody in the right geographical location.
No, I don't know. I don't think about it that much. I got the show to do.
Right. No, but like when someone comes up to you, hey, Greg.
Oh,
and go,
that's fucked. What happens is. That's terrible, because what happens if you get any degree of fame, even the little amount of fame that I've got, people come up to you and go, "Hey, Craig," and you don't know if you met him or not, man.
Right, and they'll play you.
Yeah.
And you're like, shouldn't I? Did we?
No, you can't say that, because then you're insulting them.
Right. You just play along until you
go,
realize.
"Hey, what's up?" There you go.
Yeah.
You try and go through it.
What was that time we?
Where was the last time I saw you? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Who's on the show tonight?
I don't know.
All right. That's all right. There's no reason for you to know.
I'll recognize them when they come out. When did we last see them?
Well, thanks for talking to me.
No, it's nice to be on your podcast.
All right, we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, that's it. I bet you learned a few things. Thank you for listening. Please go to WTFpod.com and get yourself set up with some shit, some WTF pod shit. If you want to, get the app, get on the mailing list, check the episode guide before you start annoying me to book people that I've already booked before. Maybe make a few comments if they're pleasant and not completely asinine and hurtful. Perhaps get hooked up with some justcoffee.coop. Yep. Pow! Look out! I just shit my pants. JustCoffee.coop, available at WTFpod.com if you get the WTF Pod blend, the WTF blend. I get a little something on the back end, kicking a few shekels. Do what you want. Watch a few videos. So many things to do. Pick up the first 100 episodes on DVD. Get linked up to some of those special episodes that you may have missed on iTunes Premium. Go look at pictures.